What's going on, guys? What's up, spiritual seekers, truth speakers, everyone in between? Welcome to another episode of the Zen Gen podcast. I know it's been a minute. Has it been a minute? I'm not really sure. I don't know what day it is anymore or week it is anymore, but I feel like I haven't done it's been a couple of weeks, right, since I've done a solo episode. So what's going on, everybody? My bad. I've been wanting to drop this episode for a minute now, because ever since I put on my threads about what happened with the discovery at the pyramids, the Great Pyramid recently, a few weeks ago, and I wanted to drop a podcast episode then, but I just didn't have time. It was just so much. But I mean, listen, you had Friday, shouts out to Friday in between. You got Olivia Labar, an amazing animal communicator. So, you were held down for a bit. So let's talk pyramids. And I'm always talking about ancient knowledge, sharing ancient wisdom or things like that on my show, right? On my podcast. And it was just so fucking exciting for me when I saw a few weeks ago that there was a discovery at the Great Pyramids. There's 3 pyramids in Egypt, right? The massive ones that people all know. The Great Pyramid, please forgive me if I'm butchering the name. The Pyramid of Khafre and the Pyramid of Menkaure, right? I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. So this was so interesting to see. And I'm going to tell you why it's significant. As always, when I'm sharing things like this, yes, it's very interesting to know about or one would say conspiracy theories or whatnot, but this is like what I'm going to share again is my truth. You take what you want. Doesn't resonate with you, again, I'm not here to force you. I'm just here to expand your mind, because expansion leads to elevation. It's all part of your spiritual elevation, because there's significance to this finding, because it just further confirms that there is more to our existence, more to our planetary history, our ancient history, the history of civilization. It's been hidden for us. But again, I know in previous episodes, y'all have heard me talk about this year. There's going to be a lot of truths revealed. There's going to be, a mass awakening, spiritual awakening, and it's all happening now. And listen, like I said, this has been prophesized and ain't nothing new. So this is a very exciting time for us to be here. And, so going back to the pyramids, so these 2 professors, they used a system called SAR. So that's I have the notes here, so that's what I'm reading off the laptop for anyone that's listening. Synthetic aperture radar, SAR. So this SAR is a remote sensing technology. So what it does is it uses radar signals and aircraft, and it creates high resolution images of whatever they find, right, on the ground or like subsurface places, subsurface features and things like that. So similar to how, we have those, what do you call those? Those things, those radars too, that you send on to outer space, NASA does, and take images. It's something similar to that. Of course, Egyptologists and other people, some have, discredited the findings of this. But it's like, listen, how can you discredit something like SAR, which picks up on imaging like this, when there's something that's being used similarly in space? Like, obviously, this isn't like, it's not bullshit equipment, right? So this is important. So with this specific radar, it's capable of penetrating sand and dry soil, which is why it's great for desert locations or environments like Egypt. Okay, so this is what they found. So through these imaging, underneath the Great Pyramid, okay, the main pyramid in the center, they found structures underneath the pyramid, spanning 2 kilometers. That's about over a mile deep, y'all. A mile deep, okay? Structures that included vertical shafts, spiral staircases, and large chamber complexes. And also possible tunnel networks that connects different parts of the area of the plateau. So what does this mean? Why is this so significant? So, there's been, I don't know if you know this, but there's been a lot of conversation, folklore that there's a place in Egypt underneath the pyramids that's called the Halls of Amenti that holds a lot of sacred texts, esoteric texts, sacred knowledge. Across history, Greece, a lot of philosophers, a lot of people, channelers in the past, prophets, they've all said that. Medieval travelers as well, a lot of Greek historians, a lot of different types of people, okay? So a mile deep in, underneath the pyramid, okay, you have pillars and staircases going around these pillars. But at the very bottom, these pillars all have a box around them. So it's as if it's meant to contain something within these pillars. So these pillars are thought to project energy. What's so freaking wild about this, y'all, is that people thought or think during those times that there wasn't any advanced technology, from aircraft to electricity. And what this is debunking, this finding, it's looking like ancient Egypt knew a hell of a lot about energy. And the Great Pyramids were facilitators for energy. They were used to generate energy for the entire region. First off, a mile deep, y'all, underneath the pyramid, over a mile. You think they're only digging with their hands, with shovels and hands to do that? We're talking a mile deep into the earth. Think about that. These structures also had some sort of water system. So this is very interesting, again, going back to energy and quite possibly electricity during that time. So water, if you don't know, I saw this on the History Channel, but I pulled it up to you so I can explain it to you. Water can generate electricity. So it's a process called hydroelectric power, and it's actually one of the oldest ways to use renewable energy. So basically, that water has enough energy that if it flows a certain way due to gravity, that energy turns into kinetic energy, which therefore produces electricity. And the Egyptians knew this. And so that adds more questions as to what these structures were utilized for, because these water systems were found within the structure they found underneath the pyramid. So if one is to think, okay, water is producing energy, this kinetic energy, right? There's a water system underneath. There's staircases around these pillars so that if you needed to access them, you can. And these pillars potentially could be generators of energy that would be shooting out of the pyramids. Now people want to know for what, okay? So again, take it, this is where you take what you want, leave what you want. If it resonates, it resonates. But I pick up on this and I feel this along with other people who have channeled this. I'm sure you guys have seen AI videos going around on social media of what ancient Egypt looked like. It very well looked like that. Okay? People were living off of electric energy, off of electricity. Now, I can't say whether or not there were light bulbs in each home. Who knows? However, energy was definitely utilized to keep the region going. And if you think about it, if you don't know this, Egypt is not the only place that has pyramids. There are so many places around the world that have pyramids. Pyramids are used to harness energy. it's been said that the pyramids in Egypt were to help generate energy for spacecraft from extraterrestrial beings who came down to assist civilization. The advancement of civilization has absolutely been accelerated because of outside help. Now, I know one episode I'm going to talk about ETs because we need to. By the way, the US government themselves came out in Congress and said, yes, ETs are real. So it's like, is this too far-fetched? Absolutely not. Above these pyramids, these spacecrafts would sort of like, how gas for cars, taking in this energy to like fuel up their spacecraft for its travel. So not only that, okay, that's one thing. So all this energy in the pyramids, there are certain people that had access to it. Not everyone had access to it. There are many chambers in the Great Pyramid, but not everyone had access to enter certain areas. In this specific area, certain high priestesses and high priests were allowed to enter this area so that they can connect with high dimensional energies, high dimensional beings, and literally astral travel to other dimensions. So it's very interesting to me, and I can, again, you take what you want, but from what I've picked up, because I've channeled things from past lives, that is true. Very true. In fact, a lot of people on Earth right now were alive during the ancient Egypt times. That's why we're here again. The problem is, how are we utilizing all this advanced technology that we're receiving? Unlike people back then, even during the Atlantean days, right? They took advantage of it and destroyed their continent. So we're getting a second chance at it, pretty much. Are we going to use this for good? Or are we going to use it for bad? Or you know what I mean? So why is this important? Because this discovery, it shows that people were far advanced back then. Nikola Tesla, right? That's the first so-called first person that discovered electricity. No. First off, Nikola Tesla definitely got help from the higher realms for his discovery. But electricity has always been around. It's just been hidden from us. Again, the powers that were, the people that want to keep us entrapped, the people that don't want us to believe or know who we are as beings. I've said this before, but we are a very slow moving race within the universe. That's not our fault. That's because the powers that were had with the D, control over us, keeping us in this slave fight or flight mentality, keeping universal knowledge from us by programming us to believe that we're just literally robots, I hate to say, living this existence, going to work, going home, paying bills, paying taxes, this and that, and that's it. That the spiritual world, the esoteric world, energy and anything of the sort is bullshit. It is not. And the problem is they know that once people start awakening to this knowledge, that's why they don't like you to question. And they immediately clown you or try to discredit you when you start questioning things. Because what happens with questioning? Questioning is curiosity. And when you're curious, you're going to continue to dig more, dig more, dig more, dig more. That's just natural. That's actually spirit leading you to the truth. And so this is, again, important to know because we are so... Our history is so deep. The human race in general, within the universe, is so important to the rest of the universe. We are literally, there's so many episodes could get into this, but this is specifically about the pyramids, but really fast. We are literally an experiment for the universe to see if we can coexist as one, because we are literally different beings all inhabiting this planet together. We are just a mixture of everything in one. So these findings at the pyramids just again proves that there is so much more that we don't know. So much more. I'm getting an image of like this room and like these priestesses and these priests around, and they're just channeling this energy, and they're like literally transporting in it's very real, y'all. It's very real. Whether you believe me or not, that's like I said, it's on you. But those pyramids weren't just there to look pretty or or to house pharaohs, which it did, but it served a bigger purpose. And let's start talking about the Sphinx. Okay? We're gonna talk about the Sphinx. You know, earlier I mentioned about the halls of Amenti. It's like this, people claim it's legendary mythology. It's a place where you get all these sacred texts. It was mentioned there's something called the Emerald Tablets, and it's literally tablets that contain information about the truth of this planet and our history. The Sphinx, they should do some excavating in the Sphinx. There's a lot of reasons why people don't want to do that. Again, the powers that were, eventually we're going to get there, but there is a lot of knowledge in the Sphinx, underneath the Sphinx. And you see the Sphinx now, there's an Egyptian pharaoh head on it with a lion body. That's not how it was originally created. That was a lion, and it was a lion facing the Leo constellation because of the species that came down here to assist Egypt. Beings, guys. This might be a lot. This might be woo-woo to you. Again, listen, you're on episode, I don't know what number this is, 12, 13, 14, whatever. I'm just speaking the truth. The more you know, the better. Resonates, it resonates. It doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm just saying, even our government last year went on national television in Congress. Okay? Respectable authorities in the military and such went in Congress on national television to tell America that yes, ETs, extraterrestrials, are real. Instead of thinking it's just a movie made up, concept, made up dream, when we start accepting that we are not the only ones in this universe, because that's just outrageous, the better we'll be for it. Again, this can be mind-blowing for some people, or not for those who already tapped in, because for so long, society has been conditioned to raise kids, go to work, come home, pay your bills, pass away when you're 80, and that's it. Like, there's nothing more to it than that. Oh, make a career, all this other stuff. And eliminating everything else is just important, which is the truth and who we are as beings, that we are not just limited to these physical things, which in all honesty, it's just all about generating money for the powers that were, if you think about it. So it's like, all right, we are more powerful than we know as a being. Your soul, your spirit is very powerful. When you think of power, people automatically connect it with something that's negative. Again, that's from conditioning. When you think of power, you got to think about it as source. The universe, God, whatever word you want to use for the universal source energy, the ultimate, the most high. We are all a part of that energy. One day I'm going to make an episode about that too as well. The law of one. Therefore, we have the ability to do quite a lot more than they make us out to be or that we can do here. Pretty much, if you have, I mean, by now you should see my social media. Like, I'm showing you guys the proof that all that stuff, all the fluff that they claim is just stories and fairy tales, that shit is all real, y'all. So you incarnating here at this time is a very historical time. This is not just the first discovery. There's going to be so much more. So much more. You can't deny it anymore. You can't. Now you're going to look like the fool denying it. So how, again, I always tie this back to how is this information part of your spiritual ascension? Spirituality, honestly, shouts out to Bashar, I love him. It's about awakening your consciousness. It's all part of the elevation of this planet anyway. It's happening, but I mean, it's important to know. Because once that happens, the rest of the world starts shifting. It's already shifting now. That's why you're seeing so much chaos. It needs to be up-leveled so that it can be cleared out and start brand new and from a more awakened state. Now people are questioning what they're being told, questioning what they're being given, standing up for things that aren't right versus having to go, going along with it, like everything. It's all part of the awakening. It's all part of the expansion. It's all part of elevating your spirit. Because eventually, maybe not, well, quite possibly, your kids in their lifetime, but moving on after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, this is going to be a different world from what we remember. Earth is very archaic in comparison to the rest of the universe, you guys. Like, the best way I could describe it is, them cavewomen days? That is us in comparison to the rest of the universe. That's not through our fault. That's from the powers that were trying to suppress us. With the suppression comes that energy, that lack energy, that negative low vibrational energy, which they feed off of. That's how they live and thrive, because they in themselves don't have access to high vibrational energy. So they have to take low vibrational energy to survive. They can't access that. We have it. We have a choice which direction we want to go when we incarnate here, free will again. So that's why it's important to make decisions from a high vibrational state of mind, live with integrity, and be open-minded to possibilities. They're literally energetic towers, sort of like how we have towers for like Wi-Fi and stuff like that, phones and whatnot. It's literally the same thing. Outside of generating energy for everyone around, with energy, because we are energetic beings, you can absolutely connect with higher dimensional realms, higher dimensional beings. Or through energy, you can travel with the right amount of energy, quick, like less than a snap of a finger. Because time doesn't exist out in space. Time only exists here. It is used for control. Time. You saw the video I put on my Instagram? If you haven't, go to Genius from BK with a J. You'll see what I mean. The concept of time does not even exist out there because everything exists at once, past, present, and future. All exist at the same time. I can get so deep into this, you guys. But, I feel like I've said enough about the pyramids. From the pillars that are the generators for the energy to the box contraption they found underneath the pillars, which serves as a foundation to, I guess, encapsulate all of the energy so that it can shoot out through the pyramid. And obviously the staircases so people can access it. And I'm sure once they get down there, they start excavating even more. They're going to find more tunnels. I mean, they found tunnels already. It's going to lead to other places. The ancient Egyptians, us, because a lot of us were incarnated during that time, were freaking brilliant. Brilliant. They absolutely use advanced technology, sound technology, to get things done, and had the assistance from extraterrestrials. Different types of extraterrestrials. That Sphinx was absolutely a lion. I mean, you can see it. The head, first off, the size of the head on the Sphinx in comparison to the body just doesn't even make sense. So if it was originally created with a pharaoh's head in mind, why would it be that small? That's first off. Second off, like, there was a lion head to pay homage and respect to the beings that came down here to help us. And if you're thinking lions, yes. There are so many types of beings out there. Okay, this is turning into an alien episode. I don't want to do that. I want to save that for another episode. But there's so many different types of extraterrestrial beings that have assisted us. And they're still assisting us, helping us, as well as high-dimensional beings, helping with the process of the ascension of this planet and our people and the human race. Y'all don't understand. It is a monumental time right now. Spiritually, physically, energetically, the whole kit and caboodle, y'all. It is so... I can't even begin to explain. If everyone wakes up, we can really live in the way that we are meant to be living in. Manifesting things at the blink of an eye, I just thought. Living just off of energy and not fossil fuels and things like that. Nourishing our bodies in different ways that doesn't require having to physically nourish us. High vibrational ways of living. Literally magic, y'all. That's where we're headed, which is exciting. Okay, I think I said everything I needed to say during this time. So I'm actually going to pull 2 cards. I'm curious to see what my spirit team has to share. So I'm going to start with, I have 2 decks here. I'm going to pull from my first deck, because these decks are made for like this type of conversation. I just want to show you the first card on the bottom. You ready? Infinite Wisdom, Akashic Records, Explore Deeper, Mastery Activated. If you don't know what the Akashic Records are pretty much the database, if you want to call that, the filing cabinet of everything that has happened in this universe. And anyone, if not everyone can access it, if you are allowed to access it, because, you know, the ones up there will block you if you don't need to be accessing it, but certain parts you may be able to access. You can see the truth, the history of different planets, universes, what's happened here. It's like an iCloud. So that's what the Akashic Records are. And so that's the first card at the bottom of the deck, because we are accessing that information. Look, it's coming in strong. Yes, this is my deck of my Lyran Oracle deck. That's why I can speak to it. And that's Sphinx. All right. Okay. Listen, the more we know about what the truth, who and what we are, this world will be a better place, because knowing the truth will lead you if you choose to free will, because this planet is still based off of free will, into a high vibrational state. But again, as we've learned through Atlantis, that didn't happen. You can be, that's one other thing, you can be enlightened and know sacred knowledge, but still operate on the dark side. So that's what I'm saying. You see a lot of people out here now, they're enlightened, they know the knowledge, but they're not on the side of the light. That's what caused the downfall of Atlantis. They wanted more power. They had access to this information and they destroyed it. They took advantage of power. They wanted greed. They wanted power, greed. It was about ego. All of that. All right, let me connect and see what they want to share. I'm curious to see what they would want to share from this deck, because this is a very what's the word I'm looking for? Thank you, Spirit. So this card is called the Merge. In the depths rests the treasures. I can't make this up. Even if I wanted to, you guys. I'm shuffling. Y'all see my spirit team. They always point out the card of what I'm talking about to reconfirm what I'm saying. I don't be bullshitting. I'm sorry. It says here, the Merge. In the depths rests the treasures. I'm talking about the pyramids and what was just found. A mile deep underneath the Great Pyramid. We are finding out the truth of our history here. The disclosure of the truth of who we are and what we know is or isn't is coming out full force now. And it will continue to come out and be revealed. This year is crazy, y'all. We're only in April. But this card with Spirit, and I'm getting with the merging, it's all finally coming together for a lot of us. Like pieces of a puzzle, it's finally starting to fit together and form a picture. You know what I'm saying? You know, puzzle pieces, there'll be 1,000 of them. You're put them together and you're not really sure what you're looking at. I mean, if you don't have the cover, but eventually it becomes a picture. That's what's happening with the latest discovery of the pyramids. And when they talk about treasures, it's not about physical treasures, it's knowledge. Knowledge, sacred ancient knowledge of not only the human history of civilizations. I'm talking about stretching past ancient Egypt even. We're going beyond that. And listen, y'all. Sometimes, they be as tapped in as I am. Even when they do things like this, it's still, I love it. It's look at the magic. I'm talking about it. And the card that comes out, in the depths rest the treasures. You can't even make this up. But again, as we continue to excavate, as people continue to ask questions, as people continue to try to search and find answers, this is literally the catalyst I'm feeling for more information to come out. They're going to start finding more and more things. And I want them to go in the Sphinx, underneath the Sphinx. I really want to pull another card. Let's just see from the same deck. And I'm going to get into the other card because there's a card in the other deck that I'm hoping they would come out, but we'll see. Okay, so this is resources. Observation, abundance, prosperity, and gifts. This is a gift I'm getting. Okay, confirmation. I'm getting chills. This information is a gift in itself because being told differently, for being lied to, for being deceived by the powers that were, to believe that we are less than who we are. I'm also getting, as you sit back and think about this information, please let it sit in your mind and your hearts what this means. This is more than just finding energy generators underneath the Great Pyramid. It is a lot deeper than that. The bigger picture here is understanding that what we thought we knew isn't true. And we only knew that because of what we were told, or what we read. Again, programming, conditioning. The truth being hidden from us. Not anymore. Not anymore. I'm also picking up from this resources card that as this information comes out, it is going to not only just enrich our lives, human lives, but this planet's life as well. Now I'm getting an image of like, you know, those, is it energy meters? I guess it's called energy meters. When they go from like red to yellow to green like that, I'm seeing that like it's going. The energy of this planet, which is essentially ascension. So we all can move high vibrationally. Let's get the second deck, because I would love to see, Spirit, if you pull this card out. If not, it's okay. This is going to be the final message. I'm going to let you guys go. Very interesting, this discovery. As more information comes out, you already know I'm going to be on it to share it with you guys, because it is incredible. Incredible, this latest discovery. A lot of people with their foot in their mouths right now. A lot of, listen, even archaeologists or Egyptologists, a lot of them too, they don't work with this good side. They don't work with the light. Some people want to keep it hidden from us, keep it from hidden from people too. So they'll, you know, try to discredit it. But listen, you can't discredit it. It's not going to work anymore. All right. Let's see what they have to say from this deck, Spirit. Okay. These are the two cards I got because I asked for two in my mind. It says, take charge with authority and honor your inner knowing. What I'm getting immediately, hold on, you guys. Hang on. I want to show you guys something, okay? First, let me go here, and then I'm going to show you what I just saw, because this, listen, when I say spirit be spiriting, spirit be spiriting. So these two cards, what I'm picking up immediately is that we have to start taking ownership. Now it's up to us to take that information and continue to go hard with it. Continue to ask questions. Continue to dig. Continue to trust. Thank you. Continue to trust in what you're feeling, what you're thinking instinctively. your intuition, trusting that. Some of you might be listening, and when I was sharing the information, something inside of you lit up. You might not have felt it. Some of you might have felt it. You've been like, oh, this sounds kind of familiar. Or, like a little fluttering. It's because you've had lives during this time, so you know. Know for certain that what was found were energy generators. So this is saying to honor that. You know the truth. You know the truth. Something inside of you is telling you that this is all true. Some of you may feel like, oh, but I feel like if it's true, if I feel like it's true, am I crazy? No. This is the part where you have to lead with authority, take ownership of what you're feeling, because you are on the right path. You're sniffing around to see, hey, wait a minute, there's something going on here. You are on the right path. Yes. Oof, okay. This is what I'm getting. Just yes. Some of you feel like something's off out there, meaning we're not being told the whole truth. We're not being given the correct information. Absolutely. Trust that feeling. You're right. There's a lot more to our existence than what they're telling us. And this is the final thing I'm going to show because, okay, so listen, I'm just showing y'all. In my mind, I was telling my spirit team, okay, you know the card I'm trying to show. I wanted to show them. And the reason why I'm pulling from this deck, can you show me this card? Because there's a specific card in this deck, couple. But this is the one they want to show because for my reasons as well. It resonates with me, but to show you guys. Okay, we're going to end it with it. This is on the bottom of the deck. You all ready? You saw it and touch it. For anyone listening at home that's not watching, there is a couple cards, but there's a card in here that depicts a high priestess in Egypt with her cat or Basset. I can't make this up. It's on the bottom of the deck. I asked them. They showed it. What more confirmation do you need? Oof. Sorry, I'm getting chills. You are more powerful than you believe or think you are. We're not talking power from a egotistical point of view. You can create, manifest, do whatever you want here at a high level. But they're not allowing you, didn't in the past, it's changing now because we have access to information. You are capable of a lot as a spirit, as a soul here. And you can access this by aligning your energies, bouncing your energies, doing the inner shadow work. So you can literally have a clean slate and be like a blank white sheet of paper and start new, so that these energies, your spirit team, source, God, universe, whatever, can flood you with this high vibrational love source energy so that you can see the magic unfold right in front of you, just like it does with this deck with me, just like the things that I've seen. Everything begins from within. Really does. But to finish this episode off, to them that land with this, yeah. This is just the first step, the catalyst, like I said, the domino effect for what's to come. A lot's going to be revealed. Final thing I'm picking up, there's a lot of sacred texts and knowledge being hidden around Egypt. A lot. A lot around the world, honestly. A lot. All right? Oh, this was a serioso one. Serious one. But you know what, you guys? This is what this podcast is about. This is about enlightening you, waking you up to the truths. And hopefully you take this information and it broadens your mind a little bit. Not a little bit, a lot. But again, it's up to you whether or not you want to believe what I'm saying or not. All right, guys. Appreciate you. Love you guys so much for listening to me, tapping in. I have more things that I'm dropping clear. I mean, you see all the things I'm putting on my social media, but, I'm going full throttle right now and I'm being called to. So again, this spiritual ascension, I'm helping you to expand yourself, lead you back to your true self. And with that comes knowledge, ancient knowledge and ancient wisdom and the truth of who and what we are here as beings. That's all part of the process. But remember, everything begins from within. All right? I'll see you in the next episode. Love and light. Peace.